Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
I've been on that waiting list.
they know. When I was telling the story, just in her 6 months, she's done with them in her, not her being the bad person. Yeah, she told me yesterday she was safe.
I've had in the last 4 years, twice.
I don't know where, because when I ended up calling yesterday, because after I talked to her, because that was what I was telling her to do, you know, she was scared of her life. I ended up calling Helen and Teresa, so I don't know where exactly at.
I go in every
Jill or
year. This year they pushed me out of.
from, yeah, it's just so weird how things happen.
They keep this
She's so sweet. Plus, I'm just a softie for people, like,
You're
recording, and I believe you are live.
we're ready.
Awesome, Kenny, thank you very much.
You're awesome. And then I can get up, I can meet up with you afterwards. Go over the password if you change anything. That's fun.
Yeah, well, this is
we got done, it was
Nicole's laptop, her work laptop. I need to just verify that you actually are broadcasting, because it says you are and you're going.
Smile, you're on Candy Candy.
Yeah.
but yeah, we got that thing running. And every once in a while, when the electric's on, he kept it for about 4 months after that. And finally said, Nancy, I got gear. So the blue card went down the road.
Funny, you didn't tear the hell out of it, just holding it out.
Well, I went out with the chainsaw and cut all the ice going to shore. So
That's a
if
pretty
you
good deal.
drag up through that, shit, you would try to drag it up under the ice, it would have been crushed. But yeah, I went out.
Versus-
I was saying, cut all the ice out of the ice so that when you come up out of the water.
I think we're live, because,
not be a
okay,
funny-
that's him. Thank you, Ken.
Never a dull moment in the
Okay.
West.
Guess we're up and going. All right. When it's meeting, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody, to Monday, August 10th Commissioner meeting. And sorry, we had some technical difficulties this morning. We've got it sorted out, and so we're able to get our meeting underway. Let's see. We will start the meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment?
Dwayne Hole. I'm wondering what's going on with the third commissioner. Are we gonna get one? What's happening? We got an answer?
Okay.
Okay,
I'll comment after you sit down.
okay.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
I've had some citizens just ask me about the front doors of the courthouse. I said, I don't know. Long-term plan, do you expect to keep the front doors as an exit only, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Right. So I guess to answer your question, Corey, that is the plan for right now, as long as we're still in this, I think, in our, because we never know when things are going to change, right? And so there's no use pulling everything down and get everybody used to coming in that door, and then we got to change it to an exit again. So I think for right now, the plan was to leave it the same. As far as Dwayne's question, I don't know if you have a specific question about our third commissioner, but she is able to work on. She comes into the building on Thursdays. That's her day here to work, and that's just how it's going to go. Any other decisions will be made by the court system. All right. I have the minutes from August 3rd, 2020.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes August 3rd, 2020.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes from August 3rd, 2020. Is there any discussion, any public discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we have some mail and some things. We'll take care of that at the end of our business meeting. Commissioner Obert was going to join us this morning on the call-in, and I don't know if that is not working, but there is, the first item on the agenda is the Merchant Services Bank account for the airport. And what that is Commissioner Obert and Mayor Evans are the signatory persons for the credit card account up at the airport. So for those that are not familiar, the airport uses a credit card system for folks that fly in to buy fuel. And they've recently had to upgrade that system. The old analog modem was no longer working with these new systems, so they upgraded that, and along with that upgrade had to become an update of the banking account information. So that needs to be signed by Commissioner Obert and Mayor Evans. And she's not here, but what we will do is we will leave that on her desk, and she can sign that when she comes into the office on Thursday. I want to make sure I don't have a message.
Do we need a motion to approve that?
Yeah, so we need a motion to approve.
So I'll make a motion to approve the Merchant Service Bank account update for the airport fuel system.
Okay, I will second that motion. Motion's made and seconded to approve the update for the Merchant Services banking account for the airport. Is there any public discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I actually skipped over the Montana Department of Transportation sidewalk and approach construction agreement. As we know that MDT is going to be constructing and reconstructing new curbs and ramps and sidewalks or approaches adjacent to our property. So around the courthouse on, I think it tells us on here. Is it Oak Street and
It'd be between Oak and Walnut.
yeah, Walnut. So the improvements will be located within the public's existing right-of-way. However, construction may require light traffic on your property to set and remove forms, reconnect driveways and walks, and perform the finish work. No permanent features will be constructed on your property, and the areas disturbed will return to their original condition. Any damages to your property will be repaired to their previous condition. MDT will pay compensation for any property damage caused by negligent or intentional acts. MDT requests your permission to enter your property for the purpose described above MDT appreciates your granting us permission to do so we can complete this project. And just requires our signature to allow them to do that.
I'll make a motion to sign an MDT paperwork to allow encroachment on our properties for the sidewalk project.
Okay. I'll second that motion. Motion's made and seconded to allow MBT encroachment onto our property to do the construction that they need, and that is on lots on the corner of Broadway and Oak and Broadway and Walnut. Any public discussion?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Tim Ravendall, citizen. Just a quick question. With the revamping of the sidewalks in front of the courthouse, is the county going to anticipate working at that same time period to repair the safety issues on the sidewalk right in front of the courthouse? Is that part of this project by chance, or is the county anticipating moving forward? Because there's still a lot of people wondering what's going on with that one.
All right, good question. That's not a part of this project. That is something that the county has to do on their own. So, and do you remember what Mike was telling us when they want to do that?
I think he's going to try to do that portion between the doors. He's going to want to re-pour that.
Right. And he wanted to do that before
He's
winter.
going to try to
comes.
do that this year.
Right. So I think that is the plan, but he hasn't told us when that exactly is going to happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Here, that goes in this envelope, and there's a return envelope for that. All right, Nicole, we have actually some ongoing advisory board appointments, and Nicole, will you do that for us, please?
Absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning.
I received this letter last week. There's no date on it. I'll just read it. It's brief here. Attention, Nicole Brown. I was notified last fall that my term had expired on the Broadwater County Solid Waste District Board. I would like to continue my service on the board for another term. Thank you, Chris Asplund.
Okay, and that'll be for a 3-year term, is that correct?
Yeah, 2.5. Really.
2.5,
So
yeah.
12/31/22.
Okay.
Decide to vote on it today.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Chris Asplund's appointment to the Solid Waste Board.
Okay, I will second that motion. Motion's made and seconded to reappoint Chris Asplund to the Solid Waste Board. Is there any public discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next on our agenda is the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority public hearing. So close this regular meeting and open up the public hearing for the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority. I have some information to hand out for everyone. This is something that's kind of unique. Just to see if anybody's interested. So we were approached a couple of months ago by David Strohmeyer, who is a commissioner in Missoula County. He kind of spearheaded this project, and the idea of it is if we were to create this Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority, in order to start that process, we needed a joint resolution for the counties that would be involved. And part of that process is holding this public hearing and signing the resolution. So it has been advertised according to MCA for the 2 weeks. And once if we do sign this, then they will send us electronic documents and we will sign in. One thing that's important, I guess, about this from our standpoint is if this project goes forward, we felt it was important for Broadwater County to be involved in it as far as basically having a seat at the table for these decisions to be made. So I guess that's kind of our thoughts for our reasons for wanting to be involved in this project. So I'll read a little bit. It says, once the joint resolution is adopted by each county, the final responsibility of the county commission is to each appoint one member of the board to represent your county, which would be a commissioner or individual whom the board chooses to select, with the only qualifications of that individual being that the appointed directors must have an interest in furthering the mission of the authority and bring varying expertise and knowledge to the authority. As soon as we have the names, we will schedule an initial board meeting of the authority, at which point the authority's directors will select officers and determine the next steps. So that's kind of the process of how that is going to go. A little bit of history on the reason why they thought about bringing this service back is in October 6th of 2019 was, it's been 40 years since the last scheduled passenger trains traversed southern Montana, which serves 16 stations in Montana and North Dakota. And since the cessation of the rail passenger service to many of the state's major cities and smaller communities. Part of the reason is, so since we lost, I guess I can remember as a kid riding the rail from Helena to Missoula, and it was a great experience. My wife tells me that she used to be able to catch the train here in Toston, of all places, and ride it to the Capitol when her dad was in the legislature. So it did connect our community, and especially our smaller communities. So today, with the exception of essential air service from Billings to Havre, Glasgow, Wolf Point, Sydney, and Glendive, it's not possible to fly commercially between any two Montana airports. Additionally, one cannot fly commercially from any airport in Montana to an airport in an adjacent state or Canadian province. For instance, a traveler from Billings to Missoula must travel via a hub airport such as Minneapolis, St. Paul, Denver, Salt Lake, or Seattle, Tacoma. As a result, interstate air travel in Montana has become cumbersome, expensive, and sometimes not as fast as driving. There is some bus service. However, Greyhound maintained only 3 or 4 daily trips on Interstates 94th and 90 through southern Montana and North Dakota until early 2000s. But revenue from Package Express plummeted when such shipments began moving by the networks of UPS and FedEx. Most intercity bus service in Montana and North Dakota has perished as a result. Jefferson Lines now provides the east-west bus service through southern Montana and North Dakota with 2 buses daily west of Billings and 1 east of Billings. Jefferson also operates 1 daily bus service between Billings and Minneapolis through northwest Wyoming and South Dakota. So, I mean, basically what we're talking about is trying to improve the, or establish a rail service in, once again, in southern Montana. I guess with that, I'll turn it over to you guys. Any thoughts or questions or? Sure, Tim.
Usually curiosity kills a cat, but I am
Yeah, I don't know
curious.
if I have an answer for you, but
If we're, Broadwater County is going to sign on to this, which I've heard a lot of the talk about Missoula being really the ground zero over the last year or 2 years of reestablishing a rail service into Missoula. And Butte's now kind of like got their bunched up, if you will, because of the abandoned rail that goes over Homestake. What really does it, I mean, it kind of opens the door to the service, but really in essence, where does it really end up going to the responsibility of the county besides serving on that board that will be created financially? That
Yeah.
bottom line comes down to the question.
right, yeah. You know, I would say on a project of this scope that I would really doubt that the county would have much financial responsibility to. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, once this thing is created, I guess we'll find out some of the answers to those questions. But the main thing is and like you said, the talk was to possibly, that abandoned rail into Butte. That's been abandoned for quite a few years. Yeah, I don't know. There was also discussion about opening up the northwest route again that would connect Denver and, all those areas in between with Montana. So who knows where this project is going? I guess the starting point is if we do nothing, nothing will happen, right? So if we get started and we get some ideas out there and if there's some funding available, maybe something will happen. I just don't know. But any other thoughts?
My question, Ross Johnson, citizen, I guess, would be, this is just a resolution.
Right.
We're not tied in financially at all to anything through this resolution.
Right.
I would assume at some point down the line that the counties very likely could get tied in financially because as all of these types of projects go, if the passengers provide enough revenue to make them fly, they work. But if they don't, then they lean on other people to subsidize.
Sure. And I guess at that point, I mean, it would be up to the citizens of Broadwater County. If they felt
Right.
that there was a benefit for them to contribute and possibly have a station here or whatever, then that would be up to them to decide that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, but this is just a resolution, so we're not tied in any kind of liability or anything with it, so.
no. No, the main thing is that we're represented on the board
Right,
to help, guide it and make some decisions along the way.
right. I think for initially, it's a good idea.
Right? Yeah, thank you. Mike, do you have any thoughts?
No.
No?
I think it'd be a good idea. I mean, you're definitely lacking services in the winter and every way everything is going. I think it'd be, I remember the train coming through here as a kid. I'd love to go on a train ride. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I think, and one of the other questions I think that was in this frequently asked questions was, would the northern route be discontinued? And it wouldn't. They would still keep that route going. And anyway, all right, well, if there's no other discussion, then we'll close the hearing and open the meeting back up to our normal business meeting, and we can discuss the resolution. So it's a joint resolution creating the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority for the purpose of providing for the preservation and improvement of abandoned rail service in southern Montana. Be resolved by the boards of county commissioners of the signatory counties below, pursuant to Montana Code annotated Title 7, Chapter 14, Part 16 as amended. Local governments are authorized to create railway authorities under the Act of Railway Authority may be authorized by law as either a county rail authority or by joint resolution by 2 or more counties. The counties may create a regional rail authority. The act gives the railway authority all the powers set forth in the act necessary to provide for the preservation and improvement of abandoned rail service, including passenger rail service. Purpose of the authority is to provide for the preservation and improvement of abandoned rail service for agriculture, industry, or passenger traffic, and to provide for the preservation of abandoned rail right-of-way for future transportation uses. When determined to be practical and necessary for the public welfare, the establishment of the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority will provide a means to further the health, safety, welfare, and economic prosperity of the region by advocating for rail as a public transportation option, the governance structure to investigate, analyze, seek funding for and develop long-distance intercity rail service across southern Montana, and other undertakings completed by the Act.
You know how many other counties have signed on to this?
Let's see. Everybody's holding their different ones. I guess I can read the ones that will be signing on. So, Missoula County, Sanders County, Butte, Silver Bow, Broadwater if we sign, Gallatin County, Park County, Carbon County, Bighorn County, Prairie County, Dawson County, and Webo County. Those are the ones that are interested at this point. And I think there is an option for other counties to sign in at a later date, if they choose to do so.
I'd make a motion to sign a resolution for creating the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority.
Okay. I'll second that motion. Motion is made and seconded to sign the joint resolution for creating the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority for the purpose of providing for the preservation and improvement of abandoned rail services in southern Montana. Is there any public discussion?
Did we advertise this twice?
We did.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I'll just offer a thought just for the public. If the public wants to look at this in great detail. It's 7-14-1601. That whole section, there's a lot of sections there, but they all specifically deal with railway authorities. And then they could be established by just one county, or in this case, a regional one, by multiple counties together. So as I understand it, when if the county adopts this, will then a commissioner from this county will be on the board of directors? Is that the expectation?
Commissioner or someone else that we appoint.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be either.
Okay. And then as far as funding goes for it, if people want to look at 7-14-1632, there's a mill levy that's authorized to raise money for it, but it has to be approved by the voters. So if you want to look at that in more detail. It can issue bonds, but again, that would be a bond issued by the authority, not by the county, the individual county. But let's say it's a regional authority of 10 counties, then the bonds or the mill levies, if they were approved by everybody, would be within those counties. It wouldn't be statewide. Is that your understanding?
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Okay.
So, according to the county, say that Broadwater County wasn't for a mill levy or a bond, that this vote would be, the whole regional area would be how the vote would be counted. It would be each county individually.
No, it would be each county. So the mill says the authority, so the regional authority, let's say it's 10 counties. The authority could then certify a budget request to the county commissioners of each county. And then if that county wants to do a mill in order to support that budget, it says specifically, it may certify annually to the Board of County Commissioners the amount of money necessary for the operation of the authority. Upon approval by the electorate, the board shall annually, at the time of levying county taxes, fix and levy a tax and mills upon all property within the boundaries of the authority. So that's an interesting point. There could be an authority that's, say, only half the county for some reason. That would only be on the property within that authority boundary, to raise the amount certified by the authority. And then the next section says specifically, before the levy in the previous section may be made, the question must be submitted to a vote of the people at an election pursuant to, in its Title 15, 10-425. So let's say we're one of the counties that's part of the authority, but the voters of Broadwater would have to approve our portion of that levy. So even if say the voters don't approve it, that wouldn't kick us out of the authority, but you guys might get some rotten fruit thrown at you at the board of directors meeting or something.
My concern, Cory, was the whole, you could get drug into it even though if the whole area voted on it and there was a vote on the whole area, you could end up, but you answered that.
Yeah, it's very clearly, it has to be the voters of the county that vote to adopt that levy for the county's participation in that regional authority.
So if the line came through, like the old line, well, the current line, through Toston and up to Helena, the south end of the county wouldn't necessarily, the existing district lines, for instance, they could exclude from any mill levy that got passed.
So if the county, the county commission would have to, if they want to exclude part of the county commission would have to make that decision. There are districts where voters can petition to be removed from a district, say a hospital district, solid waste, ambulance, whatever it might be. But what it appears to be from this is that the default would be if the commission says it's the entire county, it's the entire county. And it's not so much just like the portion of the county that the route runs through. It's basically customers from the entire county could be served by that railroad. You just travel from wherever, Wheatland to wherever the station be. Was there a station in Broadwater County at one point?
Yeah.
In the past, where was it?
Here's
Well, yeah,
two.
way back, right? I guess Placer down
Yeah.
by.
One in Toston
Winston.
and one here.
So
Was
there
there- I
were
don't-
three
was there-
originally.
Was there actual station in Winston? I don't recall that.
Placer, it was called.
Oh.
It's actually a little bit south of Winston because it became a big deal in the Joe Schmaus case. So I learned all about Placer.
All right, all right.
Not there anymore.
Thanks, Cory.
Yeah, thank you. Any more discussion? All right, I guess, hearing none. All those in favor of signing the resolution, the joint resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, like I said, once we let them know that we have approved this, they'll send us the electronic document so that all the other counties can sign. So we're not sending around one piece of paper to everybody. And it works pretty good that way. Send that to Ann so she has a copy of it. And when we get the signed one, Ann, we will send that to you, okay?
But even though you agreed with this today, you don't want anything done with it till you get,
Right,
okay.
yeah. All the other counties are doing a similar process right now.
Okay,
And once they get it all approved, then
all righty,
electronic document will come and we'll all sign it.
sounds good.
Next on the agenda is the Great West Engineering contract. We discussed this last week. And this contract was to use the existing CDBG grant money that we have to help us update our subdivision regulations. And there was an issue in Section 25 on attorney costs, and the state has agreed with Corey on changing that. So what that means is there is a legal issue that each party will pay their own way. So that has been changed in this contract, and Corey, you're good with it, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Great West Engineering to update the county subdivision regulations.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Motion's made and seconded to approve the contract with Great West Engineering to update our subdivision regulations. Is there any public discussion?
Commissioners, Tim Ravendall, resident. Quick question, normally ask this almost every meeting, it seems like. With the contract now being approved, pending that passes today, what is the process going to be happening with public involvement in that subdivision process? Because if we have this done behind, if you will, closed doors, with an engineer that doesn't even live here, it's kind of hard to keep up with the open meeting process and the people participation.
Sure. Good question. So, this contract is on file over there and it's on our website as well. So there is a schedule and a scope of work, and I will just read that, I guess, briefly to you. So the first part is going to be distributed to the planning board. There'll be one planning board session, which is scheduled in September. They'll edit the draft. There'll be another planning board work session in October. They'll edit that draft. And then there's going to be a third planning board session, which will be in November, and they'll edit that draft. Then it'll be posted to the public in December for review and comment, and then there will be a planning board hearing in January of 21. Final edits to the draft will be in January or February. It will be posted again to the public for final comment in February of 2021. Then there will be a county commission hearing in March of 2021. And then in April 2021 will be the final edits and adoption of the regulations. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity for the public to comment. Looks like 3 planning board sessions, 2 public sessions. So it's not going to be done behind closed doors.
Thank you.
Yep.
I added a comment to that.
Yes.
and Cole might want to jump in at any point here, but one of the things that we did, it's been probably 2-3 years ago, we talked to a lawyer in Bozeman who does basically just land use and planning. That's Tara Depew, who also works for Mako. And so in the midst of all of this, it just said, who's the, what county has gotten this done recently and has done a very good job of it that you would recommend we look at? And she recommended, I want to say it was Richland County.
Richland,
right?
yeah.
So we got a copy of their model subdivision regulations, which have been updated in the last couple of years. So that's kind of what we're using as a starting point, but clearly we're going to adapt it based on what this board and the planning board and the public it just gives us guidance to do. But we are starting from what we think is a pretty good product based on Montana law, case law, kind of, and the practicality of how you do planning and development. And if you recall, about 10 years ago, things really started booming in eastern Montana because of the oil boom, the fracking, and oil and gas development. And so Richland County went through some painful growing experiences as they had an influx of both commercial and residential development. So they're having gone through a boom cycle that was much, I guess, more aggressive and more rapid than what we're going through now, does still give us, I think, a pretty good degree of confidence in their experience, because we're going through a growth cycle, but it's not anywhere near the level and the pace that Richland County experienced. But they did come from kind of the same mindset of a rural county. Life's been pretty much the same there for the past 80 years, and then suddenly growth just came overnight and they weren't ready for it. So I think that experience is going to help us in what we do here.
All right, good. Thanks, Corey. You're right. And I know it was mentioned last time, but just for everybody's information, that this contract is for $11,000. So, all right. Any other public discussion?
I think it's Ross Johnson, planning board member. I think it's very important that we do this, because we're starting to see it at the planning board meetings where, especially along the highway, where they're not allowing any more approaches and we're encroaching on other subdivision roads, and that's creating issues. Not so much with the development, but it's with the road issue alone. And so I think that we do need to make sure that we have good regulations in place for the growth that's going to take place, because it's going to happen. We're getting pushed on both ends, from the north and from the south, and we need to be real careful how we handle all that. Otherwise, it'll be a mess. So yeah, I think it's important from the planning board. As a planning board member, I hope that the public does participate in it. We need their input in on it,
Right.
because they're out there seeing it every day. So I would urge, and I know Nicole would too, would urge everybody to participate in the process, because it's important. It's a very important document that's going to be written. So.
Perfect. Thanks, Ross. And I think we realized when we did our growth policy that we had this that needed to be taken care of. So I think it's going to be important for us. And we are experiencing this growth in this county. And then, all right. Any other public discussion? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Has there been any comment?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
Mr. Chair? Quick question?
Okay.
And this is on the vote. This is on the vote.
Yes.
With Commissioner Obert participating basically full-time.
Electronically.
Behind the scenes. Is she voting on these issues?
I don't know. She was supposed to join us today, and I don't know what happened. If the phone worked or she got called away, I don't know. But
Just curious if she's
Yeah.
voting on these issues.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Oh, there's a page I forgot. Mike, it was on the back of there. Thanks, Nicole. All right, last thing on our agenda, or no, it isn't the last thing. Next thing is the computer purchase for the sanitarian. The sanitarian's laptop has reached the end of its useful life, and Sean has been doing a wonderful job for us, and especially during this COVID event, he's been able to work from home using his computer, which actually saves us money and allows the work to continue to be done. So the amount for that computer, including all the licenses and things that he needs to go with it, is going to be $2,550.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a laptop computer for the sanitarian.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Is there any public discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. Okay, next is the hospital district budget. Vic?
Vic Sample, Hospital District Board.
All right, do you have any copies for us?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you.
So we are here to ask the commissioners to continue our 2.38 mills, and this is the budget for the how we intend to spend the mills. Couple things about the budget. It is not our intention to subsidize either Billings Clinic operation here or the St. Pete's operation, but to work with both facilities and with the county health department to expand some services and to help some of the residents, especially elderly and disabled residents in the county, or in the district actually. So we, our plan, we're in somewhat uncharted territory since as a county hospital district, we no longer own the hospital, so we don't have a hospital building to support. What we would like to do, we do have around $135,000 in our account, and we're holding that in reserve for the demolition and excavation of the ambulance building. We believe that that will not cost us any money, and you know, that is our expectation. But until the building is actually demolished and the excavation done, we don't know. So we are planning to hold that in reserve. Going forward, once that's done and hopefully it didn't cost us any money, we would like to hold that money in reserve to help cover any overages, any items that come up during the year, since that the money that we have would be fixed. We do not have a hospital district mill levy, so that money is fixed, and we can't increase it. We're planning to spend the 2.38 mills if you continue the mills. I've talked with Billings Clinic Broadwater. I've talked with the representative for St. Pete's here in Townsend and with the county health department. And the the two things that everyone identified as being critical was one, helping with vaccinations. We have a lot of people in the county that just can't afford some of these expensive vaccinations. The shingles vaccination, I got it done this year, costs $375 a shot and requires 2 shots. That price is going up to $380 this year. And if you look at a couple, we're talking close to $1,000 to get the shingles vaccination. And insurance doesn't cover it. Medicare doesn't cover it. The regular insurance, my wife's insurance, doesn't normally cover it. She actually got it covered because they accidentally committed to it. And then when they denied it, they did have the tape of them committing to it, so she did get it, but that was a fluke. We would like to help with these vaccinations that people just can't afford. Shingles is not a disease that anybody needs to have, and if we can help with and we would depend on Billings Clinic, St. Pete's, and the health department to identify people who truly need the assistance on those vaccinations, but help get those done. Everyone was in favor of that. When I talked to all 3 entities, they thought that was important. More important, which surprised me, all 3 entities endorsed transportation of our elderly and disabled to the various facilities. People just have a hard time, some of them, getting to the hospital, getting to the St. Pete's Clinic, getting to the health department. I talked to Jenny Klaus at Billings Clinic. The bus that that transportation service was discontinued under the old Broadwater Health Center, and she is wanting to revive it. All 3 entities felt this was actually their highest priority item that we could help with and get done. They are looking at reinstituting the service from Billings Clinic, but the bus is old, as Tim noted, a lot of miles on it and a lot of repairs need to be done. The air conditioning unit is out on it, doesn't work, and it can only be fixed or replaced in Louisiana. So they are looking at getting a grant to get a new bus. And the things that we talked with Billings Clinic was maybe if they can find a grant, then if that requires a match, the hospital district could help with that matching on the grant. And also helping, the biggest cost item besides the bus itself is having a driver. When I talked to all 3 entities, we felt that if the hospital district helped with the payroll, with the salary of a bus driver, we could open, not only would this be for transporting to Billings Clinic Broadwater, but also for the hospital district residents that go to St. Pete's and to the health department. So in addition, in exchange for us helping with the transportation system, Billings Clinic would actually have the employee, have the bus, they would own it, but it would open it up to all 3 facilities and possibly to, if we can work it out, making scheduled runs to Helena to assist people that need to go into Helena for their medical needs. I remember Pam and I drove Barbara Kirscher into several appointments that she had to have, and she found it very, very hard, even though I've known the Kirscher family for 60 years, she still found it hard to ask us to take her to Helena. If we had a scheduled transportation for people like Barbara that can no longer drive themselves, and that they don't feel like they're burdening family and friends. That would be terrific. So that's the second thing that we want to work with the three entities on. And the third is pretty much we would be helping subsidize the county health department with skilled nursing visits to residents sick that, again, need that service and can't come out. Last year, earlier this year, the county health department requested and received a grant from RMDC to help establish the skilled nursing program. And I am the Broadwater representative on the RMDC Council for Aging. So when we discussed that, the grant was for $5,000 for a one-time grant. And we would like to help. We think that getting the skilled nursing out to the residents that need it and can't, come in, even with transportation, would be difficult for them, to help subsidize the county health department, not the two private entities. So that's our plan. Because this is all new to us, we don't have a history to draw on. So we kind of have some other than the administrative costs, we have some rough numbers on what these might cost for us. But we don't have a history to draw back on.
Sure.
So that's the budget plan. And again, we are asking the commissioners to continue our 2.38 mils.
So I guess just talking about the transportation issue, I mean, how do you envision that working with, say, Billings Clinic, St. Pete's, and the other one that you didn't mention is the VA, and we have a lot of folks here
That need to go to the
that
VA.
need to go to the VA. I mean,
Until we actually have some money to commit, we didn't sit down and talk a detailed plan. But what I expressed to Jenny in working with Billings Clinic on expanding the transportation, of course, they were looking at the transportation from their side. She really wants to reinstitute that transportation, but it would be for residents of the district to Billings Clinic, and then scheduled runs into Helena to St. Pete's or to the VA. With our help, we would expand that to cover trips not only to Helena and to Billings Clinic, but people who need to go to the health department, to the health, the county nurse, and to the residents that prefer to go to St. Pete's Clinic.
right. I went down to Whitehall here several months ago to see what they had set up there, and their transport. There's this process of setting up this transportation authority committee, but they use theirs for not just medical things, but for other medical needs, as far as like dental, chiropractor.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Campbell would be he has a lot of patients that would need it. They also use it for people that are shut-ins that have no transportation to go get groceries and things like that. Would you envision doing something like that? I'm just.
Yes, I would like to see us expand to helping the elderly go to Bob's, go to the senior center. We have, of course, right now the senior center's closed, but when COVID's over, there are residents who cannot come to the senior center unless they have a caregiver give them a ride. There's one lady that we've given rides to, can only come in the summer because she can't drive. She rides a tricycle, from out in the trailer park out just outside of town. She rides that in, and that works fine in the summer. In the winter, not so well. So we pick her up and bring her in. But if we had transportation to bring them in, So, you know, how all this would work is going to take some definite planning and thought as to how we can cover all those bases. But I would like to see our elderly have the ability to come into town. The RMDC was actually the state, but RMDC had the state guy for transportation come and speak to us. And he talked about here in Townsend, when we were still running that, there was one of the nursing home residents. His major outing in life, what he did for enjoyment, was ride the bus. When the bus was going out, he would get on the bus. He didn't need to go anywhere. That was his way to get out. I think that is so important. When I talked to all three entities, they felt that getting these residents out of their houses and into the, for medical care is important, but also just to get them out, to interacting with people is important for their emotional health, their mental health, and that affects their physical health. So anything we can do to help the seniors that just can't get out. We have one of the residents out where we live that apparently does have a driver's license. We're all a little scared when he gets on the road. He is virtually blind and can't hear. And so we deliver meals for him. There are more people than just the one. And the senior center delivers meals in town, not out of town. And secondly, these people need to come in, and a lot of them, that's their only social interaction. Out your way, there's a couple that, one of them has dementia and has about a five-minute memory of what he's doing. For his wife, the caregiver, her only outings are when she can be with somebody else that can kind of take care of him. So when we did bingo at the senior center, she really enjoyed that because we kind of took care of him and made sure everything was going, and she could interact with the other people. So we think the transportation issue is just critical. The transportation issue is just...
It said that I was offline, so I was just making sure. But we're online still.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Sure. Any other?
What does 2.8 mils equate into dollars? Is it 17,000? Is that about what it?
No.
44,000.
Yeah, 44,000.
44,000
Yep.
It's up quite a bit this
per
year.
mil?
Yeah, 18, it's,
Okay, per mil,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
18 per mil.
Okay.
Any other questions I can answer?
As far as VA, they got a van that runs every day. In the VA hospital.
They come down here, do they?
Yeah, they come down, they go, I think they go clear to Bill.
Okay. All right, I guess I don't have any other questions at this point. I mean, this is it's not something that we're going to vote on today, but I guess one of the questions will be is, if this falls into the intent of the statute that
Yeah,
for the hospital district. So we'll have to have that discussion.
absolutely.
You have anything else, Mike?
No.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ben. All right, we'll go through our mail. Received a letter from the Highway Traffic Safety that says that the Broadwater County DUI Task Force forest plan has been approved. Thank you for conducting impaired driving education and prevention programs in Broadwater County. With your continued assistance, I am confident we can reach Vision Zero, the initiative to eliminate deaths and serious injuries on Montana roads. So that's signed by Michael Tooley, the director, the governor's representative for the Highway Traffic Safety. So that's been approved. We have payroll in the amount of $184,970.22.
I'll make a motion to pay payroll claims and set them out.
I'll second that. Motion made and seconded to pay payroll claims in the amount of $184,970.22. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have regular claims in the amount of $30,780.51.
I'll make a motion to pay claims and set them out.
Motion, I'll second that motion. Motion is made and seconded to pay claims in the amount of $30,780.51. Is there any public discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We received a letter from MBAC, which is the second quarter reports, and they'll be available in the Commissioner's office for anybody that would like to view them. I guess with that, excuse me, that's all I have. Yeah, anything, Mike?
Anybody hasn't done your census, get your census out. Our state's running at about 56%. That amounts to about $20,000 per citizen for a 10-year period, and that affects all of our funding for schools, roads, police forces, everything. So if you haven't done your census, please get it in. Thank you.
Yeah, very important.
I would add on to that is I did it. And because if you have a post office box, you don't get any stuff from the census.
Right.
So you have to go online and do it. And I did it, and I've heard horror stories about it, but it wasn't that bad. It was pretty simple. You have to go through a few extra steps to do it, but it is worthy of doing it, for, as you said, for the money, but also for the state of Montana. It could be another representative in the Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get the census deal if you got a post office box? Other than got a computer, I ain't got one.
Yeah, so that's all you have to go online. I don't know if you could contact the Census Bureau, maybe someone has a better answer to that. But
They're
contact them.
They're still planning to do the door knocking, aren't they?
I think I saw that.
Or did they
for
cancel that?
people that did not respond, they will be
Right.
going door to door.
Yeah.
But if
So-
you don't have a legal address, if you're losing a post office box, I don't know how that's gonna work. You might wanna contact the Census Bureau.
Maybe you can go down to the library and use their.
Yeah, or
Yep.
something, yeah.
Yep. All right.
Modern technology.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever done any genealogy work, but there's a lot of that genealogy came from previous census information, so it's important for that reason as well. Kind of help you understand your heritage a little bit better. All right, I guess with that, then we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing? Good. I could try out the census system. Right, post office law, so I've never heard of them.
Thank you, Leona.
You're welcome. I went online and it wasn't that bad.